I'm Greg Henhock. I am Mohawk. Ogwale Niwagit Dalonto. I'm also Bear Clan. And I'm from Six Nations of the Grand River Territory. Storyteller and consultant, retired teacher, coach, master facilitator, I don't know, whatever hat I have to wear on a particular day is really kind of my job title. Most comfortable, you're probably going to go with this one forward. Badminton is the first sport that I ever, actually I taught it in night school. So that was the first bit that I did. And I was in grade 11, I believe. But when I was in grade 11, I was only, 11, 12, 13, like that. I started high school really early. 13 turned 14, I think it was. I was in grade 11, something like that. So that was my first coaching ever. Because I see it as coaching, not just as being a teacher. When I was at SWAC in Ishwegen, the program gave preference to Indigenous students, but then non-Indigenous students could come. What started to happen was they started to share stories with each other. And they started to see each other as people rather than as native and non-native. And one of the things, though, is there's the question, and I got the question today, was, we don't know how to engage with Indigenous people. We don't want to insult them. We don't want to do the wrong thing. When I'm working with Indigenous coaches, I get the same question. I don't know how to engage with, well, they'll say white people. I don't know how to engage with white people. It's scary. I don't know. I don't want to do it. I don't want to make mistakes doing it. And they'll ask me, how do you do it? And I say, well, I just treat them as people. And so the story that really always sticks in my mind is I had this young guy say to me, do you like Hagersville? And Hagersville is the little town where the high school is and where he had dropped out of and was now in my program because it was for at-risk students. And he said, and I said, well, what do you mean? I said, do you mean the town? Do you mean the school? Both. And I said, yeah, I like them both. What's the reason you're asking? And he said, I don't. And I said, okay, well, why don't you? What's the challenge? What's the problem here? And he said, sketchy white people. It was, I had to stop from laughing at the time and just that idea. I said, well, okay, sketchy white people. What do you mean by that? He said, well, all the people that I've met when I went to the school and then when I go there to town, he said, I don't know what to expect from them. He said they don't act like we do. They're sketchy. I don't know. I never know what to expect from them. I said, okay. I said, fair enough. I said, but you probably have a single story of them. I said, you have one experience and you're basing all your decisions and your perspectives based on that one single story. I said, what do you think they have? What story do they have of us? Well, what do you mean? And I said, well, look at you. You got your hood on all the time over your head. I got to constantly ask you to take that. I said, your pants are half falling down. I can see your underwear half the time. And I said, you got long hair and you don't talk a whole lot. And I said, and you've always got your head down. I said, so what do you think they think of you? I don't know. And I said, they probably think that you're a scary native person. I said, because you're 6'2" or whatever it is. I said, and you're pretty strongly built. I said, they're probably afraid of you. Why would they be afraid of me? And I said, well, because they've got one story. That just really illustrated the fact that both sides have single stories. They don't know how to build that relationship and move forward in a good way to actually build a relationship where now they can work together, collaborate, and be respectful of each other. In Indigenous philosophy, that's the number one thing. You build a relationship before you do anything else.
Going to move from that top hand.
If engaging with Indigenous people, Indigenous athletes, can bridge that gap and start that pathway going, that relationship going, then I think that's everything. The way that I approach it comes back to what my grandmother, again, would say a lot to me, speak with people, not at them. And I worked with my captains to learn that. So that's something that's a skill they can take with them. And it's something they learn. But all the athletes learn that as well. They learn the same things about the idea of you have to make decisions. You have to be able to read. You have to keep playing when things get tough. You have to be able to work through challenges because challenges are going to happen. I'm not going to necessarily share a ton of content with you, but I am going to make you go,